dollar, that's what I need. Hey, hey, well I need a dollar, that's what I need. Hey, hey, said I need a dollar, that's what I need. And if I share with you my story, would you share your dollar with me? Bad times are coming and I reap what I done sowed. Hey, hey, well let me tell you something.
Did Corona kill capitalism? Corona, all the lies from the massa and the owner. Yeah, the ones that say they own Mama Earth, the stealing fathers, founding fathers, who have raped and pillaged always since birth. I have a box of organic vitamins, said Mr. John. I will bring 2 bags of non-perishable groceries over tomorrow. I have so many masks we'd hoarded from after the fires. You can have them all. All these beautiful statements were just a few of literally hundreds of people who have become radical redistributors in this time of COVID-19. What is radical redistribution? It's what most people call mutual aid, but as poor folks call interdependence. And we've been doing it since the beginning of time. Yet today's podcast from a poverty scholar is dedicated to all the radical redistributors who, along with all of us landless, poor, houseless, indigenous, and grassroots organizers, we can possibly end capitalism tomorrow. Yeah, in this time of COVID-19, we might possibly kill the virus called poverty. What is radical redistribution? Again, it's what most people might refer to as mutual aid. But me and Mama, when we were sleeping on park benches, street corners, bus benches, and motel rooms, if we were lucky enough to get one, and a hoopty if we were not lucky enough to keep one, well, we just called it sharing. Giving what little bit you had to your fellow poverty scholars so they could survive another day in this occupied, stolen land called America KKK. So as a poor people movement, that is Poor Magazine, grassroots, embedded in our own struggle, landless people's movement on this occupied land, radical redistribution, interdependence, that's how we live. Fast forward 20 years, and here we are with permission and guidance from First Nation elders and families, still here 527 years later, unselling Mama Earth and working really hard every day in America KKK to build homefulness, a homeless people solution to homelessness. Mutual aid is interdependence. And just like our multi-nation ancestors before us, we've operated from the beginning this way. Every Tuesday for the last several years, Poor Magazine goes into encampments from Frisco to Oakland, creating grassroots poor people-led media, passing out hygiene kits, healthy organic food, produce, tents, sleeping bags from all the politricksters that steal them. On Fridays, we distribute cash money, food, and supplies to very low and no-income housed and houseless families as part of the Po Mamas Reparations Fund. And on Thursday, we do the Po Mamas Diaper Fund and the Sliding Scale Cafe and the Poor People's Organic Bakery and the farm. All these provide free food, produce, organic harm reduction, hot dogs, and healthy food to help decolonize our poor people diets away from these capitalist-designed diseases like diabetes and high blood pressure. And our only goal is to help our fellow poverty scholars fight this virus called poverty. Now, with COVID-19, the numbers of people needing help has increased. So guess what? We've increased our support. Other powerful poor people-led movements like the Self-Help Hunger Program, Fat Beats, East Oakland Collective, Community Ready Corps, Consider the Homeless, Disability Culture Club, Where do we go? Berkeley, anti-police terror project, and Poor People's Economic Human Rights Campaign. And let's not forget Homies Empowerment right here on Black Arthur. It Takes a Barrio. Have been doing this work since their inception too. But the odd disconnect is it's always just been seen as movement work or revolutionary love work, as we call it, or even worse in the case of the big NGOs, NPICs, nonprofiteers, savior work. But now with these shelter-in-place scenarios, when so many supportive services and savior services aren't even open, closed their doors and said, see you later, suckers, us very grassroots folks, of course, are still here. Relied on more than ever, and happily joined by huge numbers of people waking up to the lies of scarcity and the violence of poverty. Stop perpetrating the violent act of looking away. Oddly, people's inability to operate same old seems to have forced them to actually think about the lies of hoarding and accumulating, stealing and selling in a way never seen before by this poverty scholar. In fact, I might be so bold as to say, Corona could have killed capitalism in America, KKK. Most of the radical redistributors aren't members of Poor Magazine's powerful solidarity family, or even graduates of our decolonizing, degentrifying seminar called People's School. They are redistributing this hoarded and accumulated toilet paper, food, masks, money, and essential things because they were answering a call for radical redistribution, which is a direct resistance to the lies of hoarding and accumulating, stealing and selling. All the things so important to keep capitalism going. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe it done change. Rent moratoriums and reparations are the land today. From 2009, when Poor Magazine launched the concept I call community reparations, most people, even so-called conscious and woke, seem to listen to me about it with that annoyed, confused look on their faces, waiting politely until I'm finished. When I tried to explain, I'm a client. Those oppressed people you'd be talking about, that's me. And I don't want to be saved by you. But then they'd listen, turn their eyes away, and proceed with their talks about organizing oppressed people from the bottom up. Some of this nonsense exists on Zoom, and it needs to be checked. But more on that next week. It's always mind-numbingly idiotic, and I want to scream, didn't you hear me? But now perhaps because so many people are experiencing just a small slice of the torture of scarcity, isolation, hunger, and abandonment by a system who doesn't care about anyone, even if you have played by its harmful rules, a lot more people are suddenly waking up. Someone once said, when you're hungry, you can't eat books. So now our library is filled with food, toothpaste, and essentials. That was Cesar Cruz, founder of Homies Empowerment, a powerful grassroots educational arts and cultural space right down here on Black Arthur. Occupied Weechin. Since COVID-19 began, they launched the Freedom Store as a direct response to the scarcity, hunger, and struggle of poor folks. Now they're distributing paper towels, food, sundries, and so much more to over 700 low and no-income East Oakland families. Yeah, it takes a barrio, as he often says. So, is capitalism dead? Driving through downtown Frisco and Oakland, gazing upon images of Vegas, New York, Times Square, other spaces across Mama Earth, it seems like it's over. Everything, the useless work, the superfluous travel, the conventions, the buying and selling, and extracting and stealing, the profiting off of and the destroying. Yeah, no, it's not. The insane politricksters still trying to open back up, and weird protesters of social distancing, the land stealers and the settler colonial occupiers taking the Wampanoag Nation again, and the Extraction Nation trying to drill in Standing Rock and XL Pipeline. They never left, and they're waiting like vultures to strike. The police, the ICE, and the plantation prisons, the detention centers, false borders, and selective enforcement, it didn't go away. It hasn't really ebbed, and in many ways is more dangerous than ever. But one thing I do know, this poverty scholar can tell you for sure. This moment will never be forgotten and hopefully has taught a huge lesson to so many of us. Crapitalism is just that. Crap. Its scarcity is a lie, necessitated to keep you constantly thinking you got to step on your fellow man to stay alive. That there is in fact enough for everyone, and it's not based on how much money you got in your pocket, or land you have stolen, or resources you have extracted, but actually where your consciousness is. And all that useless hoarding doesn't actually get anyone anywhere, except a lot of folks alone with a lot of useless stuff and occupied land that was never yours to own.
Cause everything around me is falling down, and all I want is for someone to help me. I had a job, but the boss man let me go. He said, I'm sorry, but I won't be needing your help no more. I said, please, Mr. Boss Man,